Welcome to History in Flames. Empires rise and fall, the past comes alive in fire and ash. Subscribe and relive stories that shaped the world. World War II lasted 6 years. 70 million people died. And historians have spent 80 years asking the same question: could it have ended differently? Today, AI ranks the 10 biggest strategic mistakes of WW2, the decisions that changed the outcome of the deadliest conflict in human history. Number 1 will surprise you. Before we start the rules, these mistakes come from all sides: Allied, Axis, German, Japanese, American, Soviet. Nobody gets a pass. These are ranked purely by historical impact. How much did this single decision change the outcome of the war? Let's count down. And I want to warn you, the mistake at number 1 is not what you expect. It is not a battle. It is not a failed invasion. It's a decision made before the war even began that made everything else possible. Stay until the end. Mistake number 10. Japan attacks Pearl Harbor, December 7, 1941. Japan's goal was to cripple the American Pacific Fleet so completely that America would negotiate peace rather than fight back. It was a catastrophic miscalculation. Japan killed 2,403 Americans on a Sunday morning. What they actually did was unite 130 million Americans in rage overnight. The isolationists went silent. Congress declared war in 33 minutes. And the most powerful industrial nation on Earth was now fully committed to destroying Japan. Admiral Yamamoto understood immediately: I fear we have awakened a sleeping giant. Japan needed America to stay out of the Pacific War. Instead, they guaranteed America would enter it. And they missed the carriers, the only ships that actually mattered in modern naval warfare. The battleships they sunk were already obsolete. The carriers they missed sank for Japanese carriers at Midway 6 months later. Impact rating: 7 out of 10. Japan had to expand or collapse. But attacking America directly was the one move that made their defeat inevitable. A war against Britain and the Dutch colonies in Southeast Asia for oil might have been winnable. A war against America never was. Mistake number 9. 4 days after Pearl Harbor, Hitler declared war on the United States. Nobody asked him to. His alliance with Japan did not require it. He chose to do it voluntarily. It is one of the most baffling decisions in military history. Roosevelt desperately wanted to enter the European war, but faced massive political opposition. Without Hitler's declaration, Roosevelt might never have been able to bring America into the fight against Germany. Hitler solved Roosevelt's problem for him. In one speech, he handed Roosevelt the justification to pour American resources into the liberation of Europe. Impact rating: 8 out of 10. America was already supplying Britain and the Soviet Union through Lend-Lease. But official declaration of war meant American troops, American tanks, American aircraft, and American industry fully committed to defeating Nazi Germany. Without this decision, DA might never have happened. Mistake number 8. August 1940. The Battle of Britain. The Luftwaffe was winning. RAF Fighter Command was on the verge of collapse, airfields destroyed, radar stations damaged, pilot losses unsustainable. Then Germany made a catastrophic error. After the RAF accidentally bombed Berlin, Hitler ordered the Luftwaffe to switch targets from RAF airfields to London. The Blitz began. Londoners suffered terribly, but the RAF airfields were given time to recover. Pilots got rest. Radar was repaired. Within weeks, Fighter Command was fully operational again. The window for German air superiority had closed forever. Impact rating: 8 out of 10. If Germany had continued bombing RAF airfields for 2 more weeks, Fighter Command would have collapsed. Without air superiority, Operation Sea Lion, the invasion of Britain became possible. Britain surviving as a base for the eventual Allied counterattack changed everything that followed. Mistake number 7. May 1940. The British Expeditionary Force and French allies were trapped on the beaches of Dunkirk. 330,000 men. The German Panzer divisions had them surrounded. Total annihilation was hours away, and Hitler issued the halt order. For 2 days, the Panzers stopped. Historians still debate why Goering's promised that the Luftwaffe could finish the job. Concern about Panzer losses, Hitler wanting to preserve armor for the fall of France. Whatever the reason, 330,000 men escaped across the Channel. The core of the British Army survived, and those men went on to fight in North Africa, Italy, and Normandy. Impact rating: 8.5 out of 10. If those 330,000 men had been captured or killed, Britain loses the will and the capacity to continue fighting. Without them, there is no Desert War, no Italian campaign, no D-Day. Churchill's famous words after Dunkirk, "We shall fight on the beaches," would have been hollow without an army to fight with. Mistake number 6. This one is less famous, but arguably changed everything. In 1941, Japan chose to expand south into Southeast Asia for oil. They could have attacked north into Siberia and hit the Soviet Union from behind, while Germany attacked from the west. If Japan attacked Siberia in summer 1941, Stalin cannot transfer his elite Siberian divisions to defend Moscow. Those divisions were the ones that stopped the German advance in December 1941. Without them, Moscow likely falls. If Moscow falls, the Soviet Union may collapse. If the Soviet Union collapses, Germany controls all of Europe and Asia, the entire war changes. Impact rating 9 out of 10. Japan's decision to go south instead of north is one of the most consequential choices of the entire war. They chose oil over strategy, and it allowed the Soviet Union to survive its most dangerous moment. Mistake number 5. By 1942, Germany had the scientists, the facilities, and the knowledge to build an atomic bomb. Werner Heisenberg led the program. They were closer than most people know. Then Hitler lost interest. Hitler preferred wonder weapons. He could see rockets, jets, giant tanks. Abstract physics bored him. Funding was cut. Key scientists were diverted. The Allies sabotaged the Norwegian heavy water plant. And while Germany abandoned the bomb, Medica poured $2 billion and 130,000 people into the Manhattan Project. The rest is history, or rather, it is Hiroshima. Impact rating 9 out of 10. A German atomic bomb in 1944 changes everything. London, Moscow, Washington, all potential targets. The war ends on Nazi terms. The fact that Germany abandoned this program while America pursued it may be the single most important technological decision of the 20th century. Mistake number 4. November 1942. The German Sixth Army is surrounded at Stalingrad. General Paulus requests permission to break out. His commanders beg Hitler to authorize the retreat. Hitler's answer is no, not one step back. 300,000 German soldiers were left to die in a Russian winter with no supplies, no relief, and no hope. Paulus surrendered in February 1943, the first German field marshal ever to be captured. 91,000 survivors marched into Soviet captivity. Only 6,000 ever returned home. Germany lost its best army, and with it, any realistic hope of winning the war in the East. Impact rating 9.5 out of 10. Stalingrad is widely considered the turning point of WW2. Before Stalingrad, Germany could still win. After Stalingrad, the question was only how long defeat would take. One order: stay and fight, destroyed the finest army Germany ever fielded. Mistake number 3. June 22, 1941. Germany invades the Soviet Union, the largest land invasion in history. 3 million soldiers. The plan was to destroy the Soviet Union in 10 weeks before winter. The plan almost worked, but it started 5 weeks late. Barbarossa was originally planned for May 15th. Hitler delayed it to help Mussolini in Yugoslavia and Greece, as 5 weeks cost everything. When German forces reached the outskirts of Moscow in November 1941, the temperature dropped to -40. Engines froze. Lubricants solidified. Soldiers died of cold. 5 more weeks of campaigning weather might have meant Moscow and the war fell before winter. Impact rating 9.5 out of 10. 5 weeks. That is the margin. 5 weeks earlier, and Germany reaches Moscow before the Siberian divisions arrive, before the freeze. Whether Moscow falling would have ended the war, we cannot know. But those 5 weeks are the most debated in all of WW2 history. Mistake number 2. Every German military commander knew the lesson of WW1. Never fight on 2 fronts simultaneously. It had destroyed Germany once before. In 1941, Hitler had France defeated, Britain contained, and a non-aggression pact with the Soviet Union. He had everything he needed to consolidate his empire. Instead, he invaded Russia. Germany had 4 million soldiers. The Soviet Union had 34 million men of military age. Germany produced 15,000 tanks in the entire war. The Soviet Union produced 84,000. Germany produced 40,000 aircraft. The Soviets produced 120,000. America added another 300,000. The arithmetic of a two-front war was always going to end the same way. It was only a question of time. Impact rating 9.8 out of 10. Napoleon made the same mistake in 1812. Kaiser Wilhelm made it in 1914. Hitler knew the history and invaded anyway. Every German general objected. Hitler overruled them all. The two-front war did not just cost Germany the war, it guaranteed it. And we have arrived at number 1. The biggest mistake of World War II, and it happened before the war even started. September 1938, Munich. Britain and France handed Hitler the Sudetenland part of Czechoslovakia in exchange for a promise of peace. Chamberlain returned to London waving a piece of paper and declared peace for our time. Hitler returned to Berlin having learned the most dangerous lesson possible: the democracies would not fight. 6 months later, he took the rest of Czechoslovakia, then Poland, then France. Every act of aggression that went unchallenged convinced him that the next one would too. Appeasement did not prevent war, guaranteed it, and on Hitler's terms. Impact rating 10 out of 10. This is why appeasement is the #1 mistake. Every other mistake on this list happened because the war was already underway. Munich is the mistake that started the war itself. If Hitler had been stopped in 1938 by military force or credible threat, the evidence suggests he would have backed down. His own generals were prepared to remove him if he failed. The war that killed 70 million people may never have happened. These 10 mistakes share something in common: overconfidence, underestimating the enemy, refusing to listen to expert advice, making decisions based on ideology instead of reality. None of these mistakes were inevitable. Every single one was a choice, made by human beings who believed they knew better. That is the lesson of WW2 that history keeps trying to teach us. Do you agree with our #1, or do you think a different mistake changed the war most? Comment below. I read every single reply. Subscribe for more complete WW2 stories and AI-powered history every week. And if you disagree with any of these rankings, tell me why. The debate is exactly what history is for. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more. Share your thoughts below.